tomorrow morning session starts at about 9:40 in the morning. Well, you can see there, championship record held by Anshela Dragatova. Came back in 2015. Chet Walker did 1:27.25. Well, nobody's got close to those sort of times this year. Martinkova perhaps amongst the favourites. Moutard there. Moutard. And Redondo as well. And Pauline Stay. Moutard leading the list of European entrants. 1:31.40. Stay finished in front of her, though, by 2 places, though, 2 years ago in Tallinn. There's the local hope. Heta Reikola. Reikola's improved this year to 1:38.37. There's Pauline Stay. Nice smile from her. I think she knows, though, she's a little bit of weight of expectation on her shoulders. Camille Moutard. Well, she's walked a slightly faster time and leads the list at 1:31.40. Did that time in Isle of Man. There's Mihai. Now, I do expect we whiz past Mihai, Alexandrina Mihai, the Italian, but I expect her to be up in contention. So, there's Martinkova. Martinkova, a medalist 2 years ago in the under-20 ranks, now looking to add to her success. And right on the inside of these 23 women, Olga Fiasca of Greece. Well, Fiasca got into the top 7 2 years ago as well, so there's plenty of experience at this level. And they're away. So they come up alongside the south side of the stadium. Well, they'll pass a water refreshment station after just about 150 metres. Nobody really needs it yet. And then they'll circle round a big indoor training area. There's another water station at around 600 metres on this 1 kilometre lap. There's the other Finn in shot as well, Maria Antala. Antala, weaker of the two Finns, 1:48 performer. I'm sure she'll gain great experience. And well, we had a press conference this morning where 2 of the big Finnish hopes for success here in Espoo, the javelin thrower Topias Lana and the hammer thrower Silja Kosonen, were talking about how many of their friends and families were going to be here. And I'm sure the Finnish walkers will have friends and family around the course cheering them on. There's good early pace here. It is the French women up in front. I think they know that if they set a good early pace, they're going to shake off the majority of their rivals. Perhaps Redondo, Mihai, Martinkova will stay with them. But at the front, it's Moutard and Fry. I should say Stay. I've been calling her Fry. Confusing her with another athlete. But it's Camille Moutard, the shorter of the 2 French women, out in front. Just wonder whether they've actually decided on team tactics in these early stages of the race. And already Martinkova's gone for water. Not the only one as well. And there's going to be a lot of those to pick up as this race unfolds. Mihai up there as well. It's already pretty clear that they're laying down quite a fast pace at this stage. I expect them to be lapping at around 4:40. So this is the furthest reach of the stadium, that big obelisk, and now they switch back into what I will call the home straight. They've got about 250 metres to go before they've completed the first lap. Camille Moutard pushing the pace at the moment, and already it looks like a group of 6 have separated themselves from the rest. Also up there, the very good Turk, Evin Demir. Demir finished 6th, just 1 place in front of Fiasca back in 2021. So indeed we do have 4 of the top 7 from back in Tallinn in this race. And unofficially, almost exactly 4:40, make it 4:41. So this is about 1:33 pace at the moment. 1:33 and change, which is a good pace in these conditions. As I said, the European lead held by Camille Moutard. Moutard's 1:31.40 coming in. Good domestic race in Isle-of-Man. It'll be quite easy to spot. We've got Moutard, Stay, Martinkova, tall image of Martinkova and Demir, and then right at the back the very tall figure of the Italian Mihai, and then just a little way back to Lucia Redondo, third of the French women, just going through shot, Elvina Cara. So 4:40 it is officially. It's not difficult to work out. That's 1:33.20 pace. Already starting to put a little bit of distance, the leading quintet between themselves and Redondo. Fiasco just a little bit further back. Yes, the likes of Moutard and Stay, they've got quite a lot of experience, and so we're just making sure they're keeping cool at this stage, taking on hydration. They've graduated through the ranks over the years. Moutard started her year with a number of races on the indoor circuit. International record over 3,000 metres on an indoor track. 12:26.45, so she's pretty sharp over the shorter distances. A bit of a disappointing outing though, Muhtard, at the European Race Walking Team Championships. Finished down in 22nd place, having had such a good performance at the French National Championships when she finished second in 1:31.40. She was more than 4 minutes outside that mark in Podbrady, and instead it was Stay who was performing so well there. And just remember, against all the women in the senior ranks as well in that competition, there's no separate under-23 competition at the European Race Walking Team Championships. So a good crowd around this course for this very first gold medal to be decided here in Espoo. So that was a very slightly quicker second lap. We've seen Demir just drift off the back of the leading group at the moment. So that was about 2 seconds quicker than the preceding kilometre, but it's still a long, long way to go. 18 kilometres. Afforded a little bit of shade on this course, very important on an evening like this. And it's still Pauline Steyer at the front, pushing the pace. Mihai and Martinkova still up there with the two French women, and I think we're going to see that group probably stay together for a decent part of the race. I wouldn't be surprised if, even if they're struggling a little bit, Martinkova and Mihai, they're going to stay with them for as long as they can. Demir already starting to drift back. Redondo and Fiasca doing well at this stage, and the second Spaniard is, as you can see from the timings in your lower left-hand side of your screen, Pulgar and Cardenio in 8th place at the moment, but no team contest in this European Athletics Under-23 Championships. Stay looking very confident indeed. A very rapid leg action compared to some of her taller colleagues. Pitter-patters along, but it's very effective. As you can see, Martinkova, Mihai cooling down, some water all over them. To be honest, I think Stay and Muhtard got a bit of that as well, whether they liked it or not. Stay and Muhtard not needing to go over and get water. Fiasca starting to try and close the gap just a little bit along with Redondo. Demir, after staying with the leading group in the very early stage of the race, looks as though she's just drifting back slightly. I'm just wondering whether she's paying the price just slightly at this stage for having gone with that early pace. leading quartet, with Fiasca just a little way back, just trying to get up on level terms with them. Was that given to... I think that was given to Redondo. So Stay pushing hard, getting a drink from the French coach just outside the stadium. South side of the stadium, but the northernmost point of the course. And that certainly is being given to Moutard. That's not having a straight leg. Fiasca looks as though she's quietly delivering her own race. Fiasca finished 28th in Porto Berardi. But up the front, it's still Stay pushing the pace. Martinkova staying with her. And then drifting back, it's Moutard and Mihai in third and fourth at the moment. It's Stay pushing the pace. That was seeing the lap times go through. They went through 3 kilometers in 13:53. So that was a 4:36 third kilometer, slightly faster than the other preceding pair of kilometers. Mihai not wanting to let the leading pair get too far away. The judges are looking very closely at the technique of all the women in this leading quartet at the moment. Already seen a couple of them pick up cards, and they'll be relayed back to the chief referee. They'll be able to see it on a big scoreboard just before the start and finish line, the accumulated penalties. Sometimes those penalties take a little bit of time to actually get relayed back, and then if they've accumulated 3 red cards, as it's called, then they end up being pulled in at the first possible opportunity into the penalty area. It's formerly called the penalty area. I like to call it the sin bin. And then they have to spend 2 minutes there. Martinkova, otherwise, other than having a penalty in Porto Berardi, would have finished very high up in that race. this is Bulgarin Cardenio and Veikala, currently in 7th and 8th place, this pair. So they're just going through 4 kilometres. So that was an even quicker lap. Lap time's coming through very quickly indeed. 18:25 for the leading pair at 4 kilometres, which means it was a 4:32 lap. Stay looking determined now. Martinkova, I'm not sure, that may well be her second yellow card. So she had technical problems in Podobradi, and it looks as though she may be having some technical issues here. As I say, it can take a while for the cards that are being issued out on the course to then get relayed back to the referee and in turn getting relayed to the scorer. We'll keep you up to date with anything along those lines that happens, but I make that Martinkova now has 2 transgressions. Quite a gap occurring between now Stay and Martinkova. Full 9 seconds back between the leading pair to Mihai and Mutard in 3rd and 4th, battling for the bronze medal. Fiasca then quite a way back, 16 seconds behind the pair that are battling for bronze. Fiasca, the Greek, in 5th. Now, it's very early stages in this race. They haven't even reached a quarter of the way, but this looks like it might be a decisive effort for Pauline Stay. Back in 3rd, it's Alexandrina Mihai. Mihai having a good outing so far in this race, as I just really want to stress, I probably will do it more than once. This is still very early stages of this race, though. A lot is going to happen without a doubt. Martinkova working really hard now just to stay with her rival. As they come out of the shaded area and the trees, they can start to see the finish line not too far ahead of them. There you can see some penalties have been issued. And 79 is indeed Eliska Martinkova, who's got 2 red cards now. She's going to have to walk carefully at this stage. She must be going through all sorts of mental processes. Does she risk everything? She's racked up 2 yellow cards in the first 5 kilometres of this race, and that's not good news. So she's only got 1 more red card with which to play with, so to speak. If she picks up a 3rd red card, she's going to be going into the penalty zone not long afterwards. A couple of other walkers have got penalties as well, but it's Martinkova that we're looking at in this respect. So here they come up to the finish line. This is very quick walking at this stage in the race by Pauline Stay and indeed Eliska Martinkova. 23 minutes exactly unofficially. So not difficult to do the math. Estimated finishing time of 1:32. So that's some way outside of the championship record. Dates back, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, to Agnieszka Draghartova, the Czech walker from Tallinn in 2015. It's Pauline Stay doing a good job at the moment, and she's not that far outside of her personal best. She's about half a minute outside of her personal best, which in these conditions is very good walking indeed. Same applies to Eliška Martinkova. Looking back at Mihai, the Italian, who's now starting to put a little bit of daylight between herself and the European leader, Camille Moutard. And Fiasca. Well, Fiasca started conservatively, and that looks as though it may well be a good tactic. Of course, coming from Greece, you'd expect her to be quite experienced of racing in hot conditions. I know it's not always hot in Greece, but it's hotter more often in Greece than it might be in many other countries. But now Pauline Stay starting to pull away from Martinkova. We're only in the 6th kilometre. Still more than 14 kilometres to go. We've got the lap times coming through. Olga Fiasca in 5th place went through 4 kilometres, went through 5 kilometres in about 23:16. I think she's closing a little bit on the two women in front of her. No doubt at all, though, Pauline Stay out on her own. So Stay's had a good year so far. She did finish behind Moutard in her first outdoor race of the year, her first 20-kilometre race back in March, when she took the bronze at the French National Championships, and Moutard took the silver. But since then, she won a good quality race on home soil in Tomblain, and then finished an extremely good 9th at the European Racewalking Team Championships in Porto on the 21st of May, a personal best of 1:32.21. And at the moment, she's walking on course for improving on that time, and it's tidy technique without a doubt. It's weaving away through the traffic cones. Martinkova starting to lose a bit of ground, and from the looks of things, Mihai is closing on Martinkova. Mihai now starting to drop Moutard, the French woman. Mihai, originally from Romania, now competing for Italy. Just to mark your cards, in 3 minutes' time, as you can see, as they go through 6 kilometres, the men will be getting underway. That'll make life very interesting, because they'll be competing on the same course as the women. 24 men on the start line, representing 12 of European Athletics' member federations. There's the lineup. Andrea Cosi got a bronze in this event 2 years ago in Tallinn. Johannes Frenzel one of the leading German exponents as well. Keep an eye out for him. He could come into medal contention. And then we, of course, have Paul McGrath, medalist 2 years ago in Tallinn in the under-20 ranks, and this year leading the European list. Those are three men who are certainly very important to keep an eye on. There's McGrath. Of course, Spain, such fantastic success for many, many years in race walking. Let's give a shout out to Maria Perez, who set that 35-kilometre race walk world record. There's Madeleine, that was in Podbrady, I should say. Madeleine Degay and Frenzel, two men also to keep an eye on, who no doubt will have medal ambitions. Of course, Spain took a large amount of the medals at the European Race Walking Team Championships. Alfonso Gonzalez, the number 2 Spaniard. There's Cozzi. Well, Cozzi, quite a long way away from Paul McGrath on the start line of the men's 20 kilometres. Looks like Inês Mendes might have got a yellow card there, the Portuguese walker. So no women bearing down on the men at the moment. And they're away. So just like with the women, it's 20 kilometres, 20 laps of this course. Snakes around the parkland just south of the main stadium here in Espoo. Like the women, not too many men who finished higher 2 years ago returning. Do have Andreas Cozzi, of course, who finished third on that occasion in Tallinn. Much bigger field than 2 years ago in the men's race. So we're back at the head of the women's race now. This is the battle for silver and bronze, and Martinkova now under a lot of pressure from her Italian rival, Alexandrina Mihai. Yes, no surprise there. Martinkova pulled into the penalty stop. Just wondering, I think that may well put paid to her medal hopes. She did have quite legitimate medal hopes. No surprise to see Paul McGrath at the front. Very early stages of this race. race and folding nicely at these early stages. They're also up there, Mazium Demir, World Under-20 champion, over 10,000 metres on the track last year, so a man not to be counted out either. Although against the likes of Cozzi and McGrath, you have to say that the mantle of favourite still remains with the Spaniard and the Italian. So the early pace of McGrath already really starting to splinter the men's field. There's no doubt what's going on in the women's race. So apart from the early, slightly quicker pace at around the 4:32s, Pauline Stay has ticked off the last few kilometres, the last 3 kilometres in 4:35, and that's been relentless pace. So she went through 7 kilometres in 32:10. Look at Alexandrina Mihai. Well, Mihai doing a very good job at the moment in second place. But Stay still quite comfortable advantage. Stay seems to almost be speeding up as well. Well, having said that, the Mihai behind her has walked a really good lap, maybe 2 laps, and has really, in addition to seeing Martinkova pulled over into the sin bin, done a good job of closing the deficit, I think, just slightly on Stay. So this is Stay coming through, looking for the 8 kilometre split, unofficially 36:44. Will I make it? Mihai 18 seconds behind Stay at the moment. There's Mutard, looking clearly as though she's struggling just a little bit. Well, you can see there that other athletes are being pulled out. Moldova of Slovak Republic also spending time in the sin bin. It's number 135. Mutard, though, no problems for her at the moment. There's the back of the men's race. Well, McGrath Viniciati, Dimir, Cozy. That's the four at front. And then a little way back to Jeri Jonkara of Finland. Also up there, Oyson Lane. So 4 men away in the men's race. Just over 2 kilometres into this race. Now they're starting to get a bit tangled up with some of the women racers as well, who are about 6 kilometres in front of them. Of course, that'll start clearing away in the latter part of the race, but they're going to have to weave their way through some of the women. Cozy. Still Cozy and McGrath swapping the lead. Doing a very good job at the moment. McGrath, as you might imagine, he's got Scottish roots. His father's Scottish. We're back in the women's race now, and the leading men bearing down on Camille Moutard. Front of the men's race, 2 Italians, a Spaniard and a Turk. You can see there as the men go at one side of the circuit, the women in many cases coming down the other side. So they'll have a view of how things are unfolding during the course of the races of their female counterparts and vice versa. So now very visibly it's 4 men away as they come through 3 kilometres, unofficially 12:33. So they're lapping at an average of 4:11 pace. Just behind them Jokinen, the Finn. I have to say as well, Martinkova, there we go. She was in the sin bin and now she's picked up a 4th red card. And she's distraught. Sad end to the race for Eliska Martinkova. Martinkova, 2 years ago, a European under-20 medalist. Unfortunately, she came here with medal ambitions, but it's not to be. The judges are starting to look very closely at her technique from the early stages of the race, and it was clear that there was problems there. She wasn't adhering with the two main important facets of race walking, which is to keep a straight back leg and also permanent contact with the ground. But Pauline Stay, at the moment, as we're coming up shortly to the halfway point, is striding away, and at this stage in the race, albeit with still another half to go, another 10 kilometres, is striding away to a gold medal. So she'll come through very shortly and able to see the line. She's kept on very constantly. The last 4 kilometres she's ticked off in 4:35 pace. Nobody else has been able to get close to that. Well, it looks as though Stay was given a card there. Not keeping a straight back leg. But otherwise her technique has been in pretty good shape. Here's Mihai coming round. Well, she's starting to lap people now, just like Stay has been doing. Coming round Romania's Sorana Tutu. McGrath now starting to control proceedings just ever so slightly. Finished 5th, which is a superlative performance when you take into account that he's only 21 years of age, finishing 5th at the European Racewalking Team Championships. So McGrath now is up the pace and the Spanish flag is waving. Well, it's Finichetti who's leading the chase, but McGrath now starting to pull away. And this was a very quick 4th kilometre then, averaging 4:11 over the first kilometres. He's upped his pace there, but that was about a 4:07, 4:06 kilometre. Jokinen, the Finn, still in 5th place. Still very much at this stage in the competition in medal contention. And wouldn't that be such a great start for our hosts if they could take a medal on the opening day? This is technically day 0. Day 1 is tomorrow. But McGrath pushing away. Well, McGrath also finished 2nd in a very, very high quality Spanish National Championship race back in March. 1:22.41, and then improved his personal best to 1:21.15 in Podbrady. He's a very good competitor when the occasion demands it. 2021, he was the under 20 World Junior bronze medalist. Took the European under 20 title in Tallinn. Prior to that, a lot of success as well in the earlier age groups. Took a bronze at the European Youth Olympic Festival in 2019 as well. So McGrath. Well, after the brief blip, it's Cozzi who's come through for second place at the moment. Finichetti, the former European under-18 champion, in third. So it's Spain, Italy in the men's race. Demir, world under-20 champion last year, now drifting back a little bit. I did feel that coming into this calibre of competition against the likes of McGrath and Cozzi, it was quite a tall order. And Cozzi now has really worked really hard in just a couple of 100 metres to close down on McGrath. McGrath looked as though he was going away from Cozzi, but Cozzi has fought back. There's Finichetti in third, Demir in fourth. Jokinen, the Finn in fifth. Cozzi now back on the shoulder of McGrath. After that testing surge, McGrath has now been hauled back in. Just wonder whether there was exchanges there as Cozzi passed his compatriot Mihai, who's currently in second place in the women's race. Mihai looks as though she's straining just a little bit, but she's keeping her composure. Up front, though, it's still Pauline Stay striding away. Well, this will be the halfway point. I'll give you confirmation of that time. Unofficially, I think it was around 50-40. Stay went through 10 kilometres in 45.58, so just inside 1:32 pace, and that puts her on course for a personal best. Officially confirmed now at 50.36, so even faster than I thought. She's slowed down just a little bit. She's now lapping at 4:38 pace the last couple of kilometres. Been focusing a little bit on the men's race with these two races happening concurrently. Mihai in second place at the moment. Mihai just 15 seconds back. But Stay still pitter-pattering around this course, doing an excellent job. Well, she's been in the lead since that opening group broke up. And then she shrugged off Eliska Martinkova, who's now been disqualified and has been out on her own for something like 6 kilometres. But Mihai is not tossing in the towel by any stretch of the imagination. So fascinating race this. Now the question, I think, is going to be can Mihai close the gap on Pauline Stay in the next couple of kilometres? Getting information through, and I'm also scribbling down some notes as we go, that Mihai actually completed that last lap just fractionally faster than Stay. So she did close the gap slightly. And Mihai still racing extremely well. You only need to think about the depth of Italian female race walking. Thinking about the Olympic champion Antonella Palmisano. But Mihai is making a very good case at this stage for being included in the Italian team, perhaps going to the World Championships in Budapest next month. Had that outstanding performance in Podbrady when she set a personal best of 1:32.55, and at this stage she's about half a minute, I should say, inside of that. So the Italian that was her first Italian vest, the Podbrady race, formerly Romanian, but never competed internationally for Romania. Pauline Stay coming through 12 kilometres now. She's looking at her watch, keeping pace. It's about 55.7. There's one of the lapped walkers. And that's Mihai. I think Mihai's gaining. That to me looks as though Mihai is continuing to nibble into Pauline Stay's lead. Well, in third at the moment it's Camille Moutard. So France is first and second, but also closing the way at the moment are the two good Spaniards. So Lucia Redondo and her colleague Anna Pulgrin Cardeno closing as well. So this is being set up for a really thrilling second half of the women's 20-kilometre race walk, which will be the first gold medal to be decided at these 14th European Athletics Under-23 Championships. It looks like Redondo and Pulgrin Cardeno are working together. Redondo, number 86 on her back. Pulgrin Cardeno, 85. Redondo, student at the University of Lyon, not far from where she lives, the reigning Spanish under-23 champion. At the moment, just a stride in front of her, it's Anna Pulgrin Cardeno. Quite a gap between Mihai and Moutard, but the two Spaniards, and also Demir, after looking as though she was going through a bad patch, has come right back to the fore and is only A few seconds further back in 6th place behind the 2 Spaniards. The long shot there, you just saw a glance of Demir. Back on the roads again. Temperature just dropping very slightly over the last hour. Still quite warm when you're in the sun, but now it's much cooler in the shade. The Spaniards seem to be working together to try and get up into contention with Camille Moutard. After that, I think it'll be every woman for themselves. As they go past 2-2, the Romanian. Moutard, she must be well aware of the 2 Spaniards, slowly starting to bear down on her. And it's Pulgarin Cardeno who's leading the way for the 2 Spaniards. Redondo, the more highly rated of the pair. As we move from Spanish female walkers to a Spanish man leading the way in the men's 20-kilometre race. Well, it's still 1, 2, 3. It's as you were before. So up front, it's still Paul McGrath, Andrea Cosi, and then just behind them, just a little way back, Finocchietti, and then just a fraction further back, it's Demir of Turkey. So it's still McGrath forging away at the front. Cozy up there as well. Finocchietti has been pulled into the sin bin, so he's got to spend 2 minutes there. I'm just wondering what effect that's going to have on his medal prospects. You have to say, given the fact that there's not a great deal of time covering the first 6 or 7 men. There's Jokinen, who's come through now, and with Finocchietti being pulled off and him overtaking Demir, Jokinen, the Finn, is now in the bronze medal position. Not very much further back, Frenzel Madeleine Degge. So while it's still Cozy and McGrath at the front, contesting gold and silver medals, the bronze is really open at the moment. 4 men, all very strongly in contention at this early stage of the race. McGrath went through 8 kilometres in 32:55. It looks as though Vincenzi has actually been disqualified. May well have picked up a 4th red card in there, which means that his race has come to an end. Sometimes, as I was saying, in the context of the women's race, it takes a little while for the transgressions and the cards shown out on the course to filter back to the race officials. Of course, we've got walkie-talkies and mobile phones to send the information back, but it's still a short time lag. Now, Jokinen doing very well indeed, the Finn. So now it's Cozy, who's just starting to pull away from McGrath. Looking a little bit further back. This is the battle. Well, 4th place at the moment, Demir, Frenzel, Madeleine Degge. They're the men in 4th, 5th and 6th, but they're not very far away. It's half a dozen strides away from Jerry Jokinen. So at the moment, these men, there's a lot of men on course for personal best here, as you might expect in a championship setting like this, because this is a superbly flat course for quick times. And yes, it was quite warm to start with, but the race is getting cooler as we go along. And these athletes hydrating as they go. So the leader, Cozy, at the moment, racing at 1:22 pace, more or less. We had a clearer picture, perhaps, when he goes through 10 kilometres, which will be roughly in around 4 minutes' time. So he's just gone through the 9th kilometre mark in 36:53. And that was a very, very quick lap from Cozy and McGrath as well. So they've really upped their pace there. That was around a 3:58 lap from both the 2 men at the front as they're battling for gold. Jokinen not that far away in the bronze medal position at the moment. And Frenzel just edging in front of his French rival. Demir starting to struggle. Everything just starting to look just that bit laboured for the Turk in 3rd, I should say 6th at the moment. So it's an entertaining race, both the men's and the women's race. So Frenzel just about to go through 9 kilometres. This is Jokinen at the moment, but this is Cozy the leader. Cozy now starting to pull away. I'm just wondering whether Cozy's actually lost his microchip, which they're all usually wearing on their shoes, because we're not getting split times through for him. He's certainly lapping in under 4 minutes. And he's starting to put just a little bit of distance between himself and Paul McGrath. Jokinen, quite rightly, our local director, keeping an eye on him. It has to be said, if Jokinen does come through for a bronze, it will certainly be a slightly unexpected one. The Finns are certainly expected to do well here. They've got quite a number of medal prospects, and indeed several gold medal prospects, including Silja Kosonen in the women's hammer, who was a very engaging participant in this morning's traditional pre-event press conference. But at the moment it's Andrea Cozy up in front. Well, the bronze medalist 2 years ago. At the moment, although we haven't quite reached the halfway point, on his way to gold. Just about to pass the 10-kilometre mark for Cozy. There are the men in 4th and 5th at the moment. As I say, sort of weaving their way around not just this course, but through the ranks of the women's 10,000 metre race walk, 20-kilometre race walkers, I should say. 10,000 metres is going to be contested next month at the European Athletics Under-20 Championships in Jerusalem. And there'll be live stream via the All Athletics platform of every minute of that event as well. Plus masses of social media content, website content as well. Just go to the European Athletics website, www.european-athletics.com. In this digital age, it's absolutely masses of material. There's Brigante. Well, now the second string Italian in this race. It looks as though, well, that's Toth. Norbert Toth. He's gone in for a 2-minute respite. Not one necessarily that he wants, but as a result of a trio of transgressions out on the course. There's Jokinen. Well, Finland historically have won 8 gold medals over the previous 26 years and 13 editions. They lie a little bit down the all-time medal table. They've got 44 medals in total. Spain, as you can imagine, a bit higher up. 25 gold medals to their name over the years. So McGrath, we can confirm, a little bit belatedly. So Cozzi. After that spurt and that stint in front has been caught up by McGrath. McGrath going through 10 kilometres in 40.53, so inside 1:22 pace at the halfway mark. Cozzi blowing hard at the moment, still up there though. And that looks like Demir. Yes, Maslum Demir. He was in 6th place before being pulled into the sin bin. So that's going to take him quite a bit further back. In case you're wondering, of course, we've got Evin Demir in the women's race. I don't actually know whether they're brother and sister. I will check that out for my own curiosity. Demir, of course, quite a common family name in Turkey. No doubt at all. Paul McGrath. I feel fairly confident in saying he's probably the first ever McGrath to represent a Spanish athletics team. It's based out on the Catalan coast in Gava. You can see the leaderboards now. Quite a few people in both the men's and the women's race picking up red cards. This is Frenzel. Frenzel getting a card there. So just goes in front of the Lepavara Stadium here in Espoo. Jokinen though. Brigante, he's a little bit further back, Brigante. So now we're up the front once again. And Paul McGrath starting to pull away here just a little bit once again from Cozzi. This has been a really enthralling men's 20-kilometre race. Real ebb and flow. It looks like Cozzi also picked up a card there. Cozzi's going to have to walk very carefully here. McGrath, though, looking very confident at this stage. He's really looking now as though he's starting to put some distance between himself and Andrea Cozzi. Now on the 13th kilometre, and it's still Jokinen in front. Briganti has come through strongly. He's come from a long way back, and he's charging as well. He's come through to the 4th place, Briganti. Well, Emiliano Briganti at the moment doing a fine job, but it's Paul McGrath at the front. So it's Spain, Italy in the men's race. We're focusing on the men's race, but we'll bring you up to date with the women's as well. So it's still Pauline Stay in the front in the women's race. But there's only 2 kilometres to go in the women's race. Pauline Stay has just gone through. Two kilometres to go for the women, but still quite a long way to go for the men. Men just passing the 12-kilometre mark, coming up for 13 kilometres. Stay has run, should say, McGrath has done a fantastic job at the front. Held his nerve when he saw Andrea Cozzi, who is an outstanding walker in this age group category, a man who's himself got credentials of having walked 1:20, 1:39. Not that far in arrears of Paul McGrath. But held his nerve as he moved away, and then McGrath just started to reel him in from just after the halfway point. And this is a woman who's been out in front for a very long way in her race, Pauline Stay. Well, Stay, second 2 years ago in Tallinn, at the moment well on the way to taking gold here. So About 8 minutes of walking left for the women. There's Mihai. She's in second place at the moment. She's quite a distant silver medal behind Stay. She looked at one point, just after the halfway mark, as though she was closing the gap, taking on board some of those energy gels and now water as well. Most of the water going over her head. Mihai about a minute in arrears of Stay. Stay went through 18 kilometers in 1:22.17. She's still well on course for personal best. Of course, to take about a minute off her personal best at the moment. And Mihai, it has to be said, also having a fantastic race in the silver medal position. Likewise, Mihai probably is going to do very well. Mutard in third. Well, the European leader, fourth 2 years ago. She's in a medal position this time around, though. There's quite a gap between the leading trio then to the chasers behind them. These women have been really racing their own solitary races in their medal positions for about the last 5 or 6 kilometers. But there's Stay at the front. Doing well in comparison to some of the men as well. At this stage, somebody like Stay can almost use some of the men in the middle part of the race to pace her. And she looks very, very calm and collected, and her technique is just absolutely fluent. There isn't much arm movement. And that's De Valdova disqualified. We saw her being pulled into the sin bin earlier, but the race has ended for Karin De Valdova. It's a disappointment for the Slovak athlete. So we've lost a couple of the women. 23 women started this race from 11 nations. But the one woman who's leading the way at the moment in pole position, Pauline Stay. Well, she went through 19 kilometers in 1:26.04. Hear the bell there. Sorry, slightly misinterpreted the information I'm given. It was unofficially about 1:26.55. A bit quicker than that, perhaps, just by a few seconds. Now Mihai coming through. Alexandrina Mihai working very hard indeed at this stage, but she's got about 5 or so minutes of walking left before she crosses the line, and barring accidents, she's looking good for silver at the moment. Stay. Well, she's been racing for quite a while with Lori Julkas at the Finn alongside her. Well, he's a 1:30 something man at 1:30 and change, so, and she's walking at about 1:32 pace at the moment. 1:32 and a bit. She's looking well on course to take time off her personal best, Mihai. So Pauline Stay, the Frenchwoman, in gold medal position at the moment. well on course for a personal best, as are not just Alexandrina Mihai, but I'm sure quite a number of the women behind her. Perfect conditions. It did start hot, but there was no breeze, and they were able to keep hydrated and cool with the water stations. And Lucia Redondo just about to get lapped, which means that the Spaniard is just under 5 minutes in arrears. Stay lapping at around 4:32. The last few laps. She's been very consistent. Apart from one quick lap in the 17th kilometre of 4:29, those 4:32s have been there for quite a while. Indeed, just about every lap from the 12th kilometre, just looking at my information, was 4:32. Not all of them, but nearly all of them. As Pauline Stay comes round. Well, Pauline Stay, just keep an eye on the clock now. Personal best for Stay of 1:32.21. As I said, that was with an excellent performance in Podbrady when she finished 9th at the European Racewalking Team Championships, up against some very, very high quality opposition. Just remember, she's only 21 years of age as well, so a great future ahead of her, I'm sure. And I think she can sense that gold medal. Just has to keep her composure over these final few hundred metres. But it's looking as though the very first gold medal of these European Athletics Under-23 Championships are going to go to France. And it's Pauline Stay. Nice crowd out here on this summer evening in Espoo. Warm applause as well from the crowd. Well, Stay crosses the line. The first gold of these European Athletics Under-23 Championships goes to Pauline Stay of France. Unofficially 1:31.32. What a superb performance for Stay. That takes nearly 50 seconds off her personal best. She was in control of the race from the early stages, from about 7 kilometres out on her own. Alexandrina Mihai, well, finished 2 places behind her in Podbrady at the European Racewalk Team Championships. Just 1 place behind her this time. And in her very first international outing for Italy, Alexandrina Mihai will take the silver medal. She's got the Italian flag in her hand. She's not bothering to wave it, but she's just about to cross the finish line. And she also is set for a big personal best as well. So officials direct her towards the finish line. And it's going to be Italy taking the silver medal. A superb performance from Alexandrina Mihai. She takes about 30 seconds off her personal best as well. What more can you ask for? Gold and silver medalists Pauline Stay and Alexandrina Mihai, both taking good chunks out of their personal bests in this 20-kilometre race walk. Tears of delight for Alexandrina Mihai. What a way to start your international career for your adopted country. Congratulations from Pauline Stay as well. Well, France, Italy two of the superpowers, and it's looking as though Camille Moutard coming home. Well, she was fourth 2 years ago, and barring accidents in these final few hundred meters, she's going to be on the podium this time. So Moutard just a little bit outside of her personal best, but still a terrific performance from this French racewalker. And the French building a really big legacy for the future, for European Athletics Championships, European Racewalking Team Championships to come in the next few years. Stéphane Moutard at the vanguard of French racewalking at the moment. Is keeping focused. She's experienced as well. She's been to a good number of these major championships. Looked at one point as though Moutard was under pressure from the likes of the Spaniards Redondo and Pulgarin Cardeno, but then she bounced back and recovered. So Moutard. Well, the bronze, could say it's almost a mustardy colour. And Camille Moutard comes through. Still big cheers from the plenty of French supporters in the crowd who've made this trip to Espoo. Not a difficult trip. We're just about a 20-minute drive from the main Helsinki airport. And Camille Moutard takes the bronze. So gold and bronze for France. Anna Pulgarin Cardeno finishes fourth. And coming through strongly in the latter part of the race. We didn't really see very much of her during the first half, but Inês Mendes of Portugal, Lucia Redondo coming home sixth. Mendes might well have been another woman to get a personal best as well. We'll wait and see when we've got official confirmation of the times. So Pauline Stay's official time, 1:31.17. A French national under-23 record. A superb performance to open proceedings here in Espoo. And terrific effort as well. Coming home in 7th place. Really pleased with that. That's Heta Veikola. Veikola inside 1:38 for the first time in her life. Absolutely delighted with her performance. Personal best by about a minute for the Finn as well. There's Fiasca, the Greek. Saw quite a lot of her in the early stages of the race. Drifted back a bit. I think she was hoping for a little bit more, but still gave a very good account of herself. There's Adriana Vivieros coming through. Vieros, another with a personal best. We're going to see a lot of personal bests as well. Everico also inside 140 for the first time in her career. That's about 2 minutes off the Spaniard's best. So many of these women rising to the occasion. As the women still keep coming through. But you can just see there, Paul McGrath going through, leading the way in the men's race. McGrath's got about another 3 kilometres to go. He's on course for a very good time as well. So that's 17 kilometres undertaken by the leaders in the men's race. There's Elvina Carr. The French 3 women home. The men's race still going on. Bring you up to date with what's going on in the men's race very shortly. Just wrapping up proceedings in the women's race. There's the man in third at the moment. There's Brigante. I think he was in third. So these final 3 kilometres, the leading men will be out on their own. They won't have to contend with getting tangled up with any of the women walkers. A few of the women still have 1 lap to go. That's Tutu, the Romanian, just getting the bell there. So she's got about another 5 or so minutes of walking still to go. So Tiziana Spiller of Hungary, one of the youngest women in this race, only turns 20 in December. Back with the men, this is Paul McGrath. Well, he's on the 18th kilometre now. McGrath a long way out in front. He's looking very confident indeed, the Spaniard. Well, McGrath. Wondering where he's going to put all the medals that he's won at European and world competition in the age group categories. This is the man who's the reigning European under-20 champion, and he'll be able to call himself that for just about another 3 weeks before we get to Jerusalem. There's Cozy, a long way back, but in second place, Andrea Cozy. Third 2 years ago in Tallinn. Looking to move up the podium, but he's at this stage with just under 3 kilometres to go. Looking as though he's going to have to settle for silver, unless there's some drama at the front with Paul McGrath. But Paul McGrath, it has to be said, is a class act. Finished 5th in a very high quality field at the European Racewalking Team Championships in Portobradi, May the 21st. I was commentating on it, and regardless of what was happening up in front with some of his Spanish teammates also doing extremely well, the Spaniards winning the team title, he really did impress. You just have to remember McGrath, well, 21 years of age, competes for the Cornelia Atletismo Club. It's out in Catalonia, not far from Barcelona. There's the back of Egberg, one of 3 Finns in this competition. As we look at one of the back markers in the women's race coming home. Just in front of him, Larry Dukas. Well, we saw a lot of Dukas as he almost accompanied Alexandrina Mihai over the last few kilometres of the course. Now he's out on his own, no company for him. There's Ekberg. Pulls up the front. I think he's still in 3rd place. We'll try and give you confirmation of that. Jerzy Jokinen. This is Jokinen at the moment. Just coming up to the 18-kilometre mark. Well, Jerzy Jokinen on course for a very big personal best. As I was saying, there's quite a lot of Finnish medal prospects. We'll be hearing the Finnish national anthem, I'm sure, on several occasions over the next 4 days, and seeing their flag raised on many occasions. They're coming to these championships, these home championships, with a good contingent. But I don't think they would have imagined that Jerzy Jokinen would have been up there. Finished a rather distant 28th in Portobradi. I just think that Paul McGrath finished 5th. As McGrath comes up on the shoulder of Matteo Duc of France. Duc. And he's about 4 and a bit minutes in arrears of McGrath in this race, and also on paper. Duc a 1:26 man at best. And McGrath just looks so easy, it just looks so comfortable. Able to race at this very high speed. McGrath starting to lap many of the athletes in front of him, including a couple of his compatriots as well. This is a really classy performance from McGrath. Cozy though, no doubt at all about this man. Clear in 2nd place. Looking a little bit laboured. Just compare his style and demeanour to Paul McGrath's. Nevertheless, he's still ticking off the kilometres in fine fashion. So Cozy just struggling a little bit, having dipped back to 4:17 kilometres. Found his 2nd wind with that last kilometre. That was a 4:12 kilometre for him. But up front, Paul McGrath Well, McGrath operating at a slightly higher pace. McGrath ticking off 409 kilometres. So McGrath now on the very last lap. The Spaniard striding away. Well, championship record of Algaz Fadayev's of Latvia, which dates from the very first championships in Turku, 1958. That's not going to happen, but McGrath could be on course for personal best, improving on his Podobrati time. So the time he'll be looking at is 1:21.15 for the Spaniard. Well, the Spaniards have just got such a large number of good people in their team. It's highly likely that McGrath may not quite make the cut for the World Championships. Let's wait and see. But they've got Alvaro Martin, looking likely to lead the Spanish challenge at the World Championships next month. So just a couple of 100 meters to go for McGrath. Now, can he dip inside 1:21? The clock's ticking. Now he's starting to pick up the pace. And just for one of the very first occasions in this race, he's starting to look as though he's straining just a little bit. But he's striding out. He's looking so confident. Still had time to grab a Spanish flag. He really does look the part. This is a man I believe will challenge for medals in the future on the highest stage. But today, the winner of the under-23 gold medal in the men's 20-kilometre race walk is Spain's Paul McGrath. 1:21.02. And he takes 13 seconds off his personal best. What more could you ask for? A gold medal, a personal best. Paul McGrath of Spain, we salute you. What a superb performance. Congratulated by his teammates and the coaching staff. Well, Andrea Cosi, he had that brief surge in the front at around the halfway point. But then Paul McGrath just calmly reeled him in and then started to move away. In the end, it's going to be well over a minute in arrears, but nevertheless, the man who took bronze 2 years ago is on course for the silver medal. I don't think he can be displeased with that. I think on the day he realises that Paul McGrath in this race was an unstoppable force. So Andrea Cosi coming through just a little bit outside of his personal best. But even at his very best, it would have been difficult to have seen him challenging McGrath today. Cosi, well, we had Alexandrina Mihai getting the silver medal in the women's 20-kilometre race walk just a few minutes ago. And now it's going to be Andrea Cosi takes the silver for Italy. 1:23.02 unofficially. Congratulations from McGrath. And there you see it. There's the silver medalist in the women's race, congratulating her male counterpart. And Jerzy Jokinen. And he's on course to take about 3 minutes off his previous best. And Jokinen, yes, we've had good Finns in the past in race walking. They have some tradition in this event, but we weren't looking at Jokinen being amongst the medals. Just shows what a little bit of, let's just say, home field advantage, or in this case, home asphalt advantage can do. Jokinen lapping many of the other men in this men's race. Compared to the Italian and the Spanish, the Finnish have a slightly more modest offering of their national flag, but nevertheless held very proudly by Jerzy Jokinen. Jokinen just coming through to the finish line. And Finland take the bronze. The home nation get on the podium on this opening evening of the 2023 European Athletics Under-23 Championships. Magnificent performance there from Jokinen. Well, Itami Afonso Gonzalez has walked himself into the ground, and he came through so strongly over the final quarter of that race to take fourth place. Jaromir Morovic takes fifth. The Czech as well coming through strongly. That's a nice multinational array of medalists in the men's 20-kilometre race walk. Finland from Scandinavia all the way down to Iberia with Spain, and then across the Mediterranean to Italy. So European race walking in very good hands, thanks to Paul McGrath, Andrea Cosi and Jerzy Jokinen. Being directed towards the medal podium. The medal ceremonies will take place just a little bit later. This is Hungary's Norbert Tooth. 1:26 for Tooth. And that includes a stay in the sin bin, a 2-minute time penalty. That's an impressive performance as well from Tooth. So Johannes Frenkel comes through for 10th place, the German. That completes the top 10. There you can see, though, a whole slew of personal bests. This is the third Spaniard home. So Oscar Martinez comes through. Martinez, 126 man. So about 2.5 minutes outside of his best. There's Madeleine Deguet. We saw him feature early in the race. Slip back, Jukas. Well, Jukas, Larry Jukas, has taken more than a minute off his best. Highlands Ossine Lane, a little bit outside of his best, 126 man.
Kyllä, oletko valmis? Meno.
So the rest of the race walkers still coming home. This is Ramos, the Portuguese walker. Thiago Ramos. Good performance from him. Took around 4 minutes off his best. So a nice performance for Ramos. As we look then at the highlights of this race. These are the early stages of the race. And here's Paul McGrath coming home. Spain taking the first men's gold medal of these championships.